Good evening. It's an honor to be here today before all of you. 5 years ago, I came out as a transgender woman, and for the first time, I confronted my mental health issues. And 5 years later, I'm standing here talking about why youth mental health matters. It feels very special. I first heard about Bring Change to Mind through the intercom during morning announcements at Maggie L. Walker High School in Richmond, Virginia. And the announcement went something like, sad, anxious, or stressed, join the brand new mental health club in room 202. And I was like, but then they added, we'll have free cookies. And I was like, what room did you say it was in? And so I left school that day with a free cookie in my hand as the newest member of Bring Change to Mind. And it was such a new experience. For all of my life, I've hidden two things, my mental illness and my gender identity. But once I joined Bring Change to Mind, people were so open about their mental health. And I remember this one girl, she was like, I know I'm depressed, but I'm working on it. And she kind of rolled her eyes and she was like, maybe if Miss Lawson didn't make us read 100 pages of Beowulf every day, I wouldn't have to be on Lexapro. And it just kind of clicked. It was like, wait, so we can talk about this? I can talk about this? I first started experiencing depression and anxiety when I was in middle school, when I was in a all-boys Catholic school. And you can kind of paint that picture in your head, a queer, feminine 13-year-old thrown into a religious community where being colorful wasn't exactly a virtue. And the worst part was I didn't know why I felt so sad. I didn't know why I felt so afraid. In hindsight, I can say, well, of course you weren't a boy, or of course you were struggling with your mental health, but I didn't know that back then. No one told me what it meant to be mentally ill. No one told me what it meant to be transgender. And it got worse and worse, and even after I escaped to a public high school, even after I escaped to a public high school, and things didn't get better. And in sophomore year, I came out as transgender, and my parents took it poorly, and I was exhausted. And a week later, I was in the hospital fighting for my life. But then things slowly began to change. I started seeing a therapist. I started taking medication. My relationship with my parents improved. And I realized that things could get better. And a year later, when I heard about a brand new mental health club, I wanted to stop hiding. I wanted to be able to say that I am a transgender woman with a mental illness, and I am unashamed. So fast forward to 2019, I'm now leading my high school's Bring Change to Mind club as the club president. And I make it my mission, my club's mission, to make the lives of LGBTQ+ students at my school just a little bit easier. And so we decide that we're going to try and amend the school's transgender bathroom policy. And because at the time, transgender students would have to go to the teacher's lounge just to pee, and it didn't make any sense. And so we drafted a letter. We talked to the principal. The principal had meetings with the district superintendent. And after several months, we got it done. And I'm proud to say that 5 years later, that that policy change continues to help students at my school. For now, I hate to put that caveat, but we live in a tumultuous America, but that's why we need to keep up our mission. That's why we need to keep up the fight, and Bring Change to Mind clubs across the country are leading the way. And that's what's so amazing about Bring Change to Mind, I think. It has all these, it's a national organization. It has all these cool celebrities and these big movers and shakers, but at the center of all of it is the students. And every day, these 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-olds are becoming advocates, uplifting voices, and creating real change within their schools and their communities that they know so well and grew up in. And that's what today is all about, I think. It's about joining a movement, about building a bridge between generations. Because a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we might have a world that's a little more open, in America that's a little more understanding, a San Francisco that, dare I say, a little more golden. Because you never know. Because you never know. The money, the time, the support that you've donated here today, it might just come up in the form of a box of cookies at a Bring Change to Mind club somewhere in Arizona or New York or Indiana or here in California or maybe even in Virginia. And sometimes all it takes is a cookie. Thank you.